Hi guys, so let's get straight to the point. The test dates for Accenture has come, and for a lot of you guys it's 22nd of August. If you look at the date today, it's 10th of August when I'm recording, and I'll be making this video live on 11th of August. Okay, so let's say you have 10 days left. How do you prepare? I have the 10 days plan right here. I'm going to discuss it with you, and we're going to get straight to the point how you can prepare within these 10 days, or if you have prepared, how will you revise within these 10 days to crack Accenture's test and even interview. Okay, so to those of you who don't know, I have made this sheet, which is the Accenture complete sheet. I've made an entire video on this. I'll be giving a link to that in the description. You can check this out. So this sheet has everything that you need in order to crack Accenture's interview and online round. Okay, so for today's date, we're going to discuss the 10-day plan that you need. Okay, so let's understand one thing. What do you need for Accenture? First, you need to clear the online round. Online round, as we've discussed in the previous videos, you have multiple things. First thing, you need aptitude. Okay, so you need aptitude. We have discussed these things in the previous videos. It's also in the sheet. I've made this sheet where I have everything, like what do you need, what topics do you need to prepare, everything you'll find in the sheet itself. All right. So first thing, you need aptitude. After that, you have a technical section where you have things like pseudocode, you have networking question, you have common MS and application, common applications and MS questions. These kind of things comes under technical. After that, you have the dreaded coding section. And just for you guys, I have a couple of sample coding questions today that we're going to see together so that you understand what kind of coding questions are going to be coming. Okay, so you have aptitude, you have technical, you have coding. After that, you have a communication test, which is just a test of your English. Nothing to worry about, but I'm still writing it English. Okay, then you have the interview. And to those of you who don't know, I have made an interview experience video of Accenture where a person who has cracked Accenture AASE role has come and explained his interview experience. Do watch that. It is again in the same sheet. Okay, so you have 10 days. You want to crack Accenture. These are the things you need to worry about. Okay, how are you going to do that? Let's say you don't know anything right now. Let's say that you have zero knowledge of anything. How will you do? So first of all, we're not going to do like this, 2 days for one thing, then 3 days for one thing, 4 days for one thing. No, we're going to do everything in parallel. So this is how you're going to do. Okay, first you're going to start with aptitude. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do parallelly everything every single day. Starting with aptitude, there's a lot of topics, you cannot cover them all. So what you're going to do, you're going to take the topics that I have put in this sheet. Okay, take the topics from this sheet. Then what you're going to do for the next 2 hours, okay, sit down for the day. Next 2 hours, you're going to practice aptitude. How are you going to practice? This is how you're going to practice. Okay, you're going to have 45 minutes for your quant. You're going to give 45 minutes for your reasoning section, and you're going to give 30 minutes for your verbal section. Okay, why less for verbal? Because verbal is not that difficult. Okay, you can easily solve a lot of verbal questions within a short amount of time. It doesn't require any formula, it doesn't require any tricks. So what you're going to do, 45 minutes solve quant questions. Okay, 45 minutes solve reasoning questions, and 30 minutes solve verbal question. But before you start solving, this is what you need to do. Topic by topic, you have to first learn. Okay, so there's two parts of aptitude. Okay, there's learning and then there's problem solving. Okay, what is there in learning? If you're in quant, let's say you're at a subject where you have, ratios of proportion, or you have geometry, you have anything. So what will you have in that? You'll have formulas. So what you need to do, take a notebook, okay, and note down all the formulas. Okay, note down all the formulas that are there in that topic. So you're going topic by topic, right? Note down all the formulas that are there in the topic. Okay, then if you're in reasoning, what will be there in reasoning? You'll have some tricks. You'll have some tricks on how you can solve problem. If you have a calendar based problem, if you have a clock based problem, if you have blood and relation problem, you'll have some tricks. So write down the formulas, write down the tricks. Okay, in verbal you don't have such learning as such, so you can just go straight to solving problems on verbal. So note down all the formulas, note down all the tricks in a notebook. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to do all of this in a notebook. Okay, you need to make notes. It's very important. Last 10 days, absolutely make notes. Okay, so do the learning, learn the formulas, learn the tricks. If there's any concept involved, learn the concept. Once you learn the concept, then move on to this problem solving. Okay, so let's say you can give around 2 to 3 hours of aptitude every day. That should be enough. Okay, just focus on solving problems. Okay, Now, where do you solve problems? So two things I've already mentioned. One is you have sample problems. Where will you get sample problems? That is again there in this sheet. You have sample problems from indiabix.com. Indiabix.com has a section for Accenture's complete aptitude, and then you can do previous year problems. Previous year problems, how will you do? You'll do previous year problems from Prep Insta. So Prep Insta has previous year problems. Okay, do as many problems as you can for 2 to 3 hours. Okay, now the main thing to focus here is not on the problems you were able to do, but the problems you were not able to do. Okay, so what you're going to do after problem solving, make a note of problems you couldn't solve and why. Okay, so make a note of problems that you could not solve and why you could not solve them. Mark it with a highlighter or with a couple of stars, and then you're going to revise these problems and the concept involved just before the test. Okay, 2 to 3 hours every day for aptitude, pretty much it's done. Okay, it's not that difficult, trust me. Aptitude is very easy. It is mostly elementary level stuff. Okay, if you are someone who's in college, you can easily solve elementary level stuff if your concepts are correct. Okay, so aptitude is pretty much done. Now we come to the next part, which is the technical section. Okay, so I'm removing this for now, or let's keep it just in case you guys would want it. So what we're going to do then, we're going to move on to the technical part. Okay, now technical section is again nothing difficult, but the thing about technical section is that Accenture's technical section is a bit unique. Okay, other companies don't ask MS and common applications question. Okay, so for this there's nothing much you need to do. Okay, MS and common apps, and plus you have some networking question, right? Networking and cloud security you have. Again, let's say that you're able to give 2 hours for it every day. You don't need more than 2 hours for this. Okay, 2 hours is pretty much enough. So what you're going to do, again, two things: learning and problem solving, because here you also have concepts. Now for this, what you're going to do is you're going to go on YouTube. Okay, you'll find some playlists on YouTube. I'll give a few in the description and you can search from there. So in YouTube, some people have made entire playlists focusing on just the technical part of Accenture, where you have MS Office common applications questions explained, you have network and cloud security questions explained. So first what you're going to do is you're going to learn from YouTube. Okay, learn, because they'll be explaining, they'll not just be solving and tick marking the question, they'll be explaining the concept to you. Learn from there. Okay, the important topics you can find from this sheet itself. So learn from there. Once you learn from there, go to solving problems. Okay, here for solving problems, previous year questions are enough. You don't need more than that. Okay, aptitude, I also asked you to do sample problems, not needed for this. Okay, so learn from YouTube, and if you want you can also learn from GFG. GFG has some notes on networking and cloud security, but it is too much in depth. You don't need that much in depth. Main thing is YouTube. Just from YouTube, I'll give a few playlists, just learn from there. All right, so you can just learn the theory from YouTube. GFG you can if you have time, but right now you don't have much time. It's too much in depth. Okay, so if you have too much free time, you can learn from GFG, but YouTube playlist should be enough. After that, just do previous year questions. I'm not asking you to do any sample questions for this. Previous year questions should be more than enough. Okay, where will you find previous year questions? Prep Insta. The link is in this sheet itself. Everything you'll find in this sheet. Okay, link to the sheet is in the description. Other resources will also be in the description. All right, now technical section is done, aptitude is done. The next part is the coding part, and the coding part is the most dreaded for a lot of students. They're afraid of coding section, but let me tell you, the Accenture coding section is very easy. Okay, yesterday 9th of August there was a Accenture coding test. I saw the problems, they were very easy, nothing to worry about. Okay, one of them was probably a medium, others were all easy, not even easy medium. Even 2 weeks back there was a Accenture coding test, even that was pretty easy. Okay, I even have a couple of questions here to show you. Okay, and I'm also going to give you a very good playlist from where you can find the actual problems that have appeared. Okay, so what are you going to do for Accenture's coding test? Very simple. First, choose a good language. You know, the one mistake people do is they choose a language which is not meant for problem solving. What I always suggest is just go with either C++ or Java. Okay, If you know C++ or Java, that is very well good enough. I will not suggest learning a new language within 10 days because it takes some time. Okay, so but what I will suggest is learning the library of it. Okay, what do I mean by the library? I mean the like template library. So have C++, you have STL. In Java, you have collections. So I would like you to learn these things right now if you don't. Okay, where will you learn? Very simple. For STL, you have Striver's video where he has explained everything in one video. Collections, you can also find a couple of videos. I'll give a link in the description where in one video you'll be able to get everything. Okay, so this also can get from YouTube. First, be good with the library. C++, STL, Java, collections. If you have anything else, that's also fine. Okay. Now, second thing what you need to do is first understand that the coding questions will be super easy. You have two questions, right? First question will just be a very simple function based problem. So recently I saw a problem which was just something like you have an array, you have to find the sum of all elements in the array and you have to find whether that sum is even or not. Very simple. Do a linear search, make a for loop and just find the sum, store it in a integer, store it in a variable and divide by 2, modulo by 2, check whether it is even or not. Very simple thing. Okay, so for the first question you just need a good knowledge of syntax. Are you able to create functions or not? Are you able to create a for loop or not? Are you able to know the basic syntax, looping, if else condition, these kind of thing, basic syntax. So if you are good with the basic syntax, by which I mean for loops, if you're good with for loops, if you're good with if else's, if you're good with arithmetic operation, then pretty much the first questions you already have in the bag. All right, second question will have a very basic data structure like an array or string. Mostly it will either be an array question or a string question. I have both of them as sample. Okay, and you just need to do something very basic. Let's take a look at a couple of questions that have recently appeared. Okay, so I have both the question, one from string, one from array. First question, given two strings, the cost of operations are as follows. You have two strings, you can do some operations on them. Removing a character takes 0, swapping two characters takes 0, adding a character 1. So effectively, if you've done a little bit of problem solving, you know that swapping a character, removing a character has nothing, no value. You can do it infinite number of times, it's not going to do anything. So you have to make both strings equal with minimum operations. All right. So what you need to do, let's take an example. Let's say S1 is equal to ABC, S2 is equal to BCD. You have to make them equal. Okay. Now, how will you make it equal? First of all, B needs to be here. So you'll swap it. It will become CBD. Okay. So it'll become CBD. Now B is at the correct position. Then you'll again need to swap C to make sure C comes here. So what you'll do, you'll do D and you'll do C. So you can see BC is both there. We got half the thing done. And how many operations did we take? 0. Our cost is 0. Why? Because swapping characters doesn't take anything. Simple. Then what do we do? A and D are different. So what you can do? You can pick any string. Let's take D. Remove this other string. Remove D. Remove D. Cost is 0. Insert a character ABC. It took 1. Why? Because you just inserted a string. Inserted a character into the string. So it's very simple. What you need to do, you need to find the smallest string because length should also be equal. Exact, obviously. Find the smaller string, the larger string, you remove all the other characters. Takes 0, no issues. Then swap. Let's assume you are swapping. Let's assume you are removing everything. Then what do you need to do? You just need to check both the strings. Pick any one string. Okay. See what are the characters that other string has that this one doesn't, and just the count of that, because whatever characters this one doesn't have, you need to add in it, and adding the characters is the one thing that takes toll. So what you can do, you can just use a map, or you can even use a frequency array. Okay, so what you can do, you can add the first characters into a map and then you can remove those characters from the map. Okay, so whatever is still there is not present in the string, you need to add them. Okay, it's very simple. I'm not even writing the code because it's very simple. But if you guys want the code, then again I'll link you guys to a playlist where you have a guy who explains everything like very simple, even like a person who doesn't know coding can understand. So I'll give that playlist, you can follow from there. So you can understand how like easy it is. Even though it is the question which is considered to be medium, it is still very easy. Why is that? Because 2 of the operation doesn't take any cost. Okay, very simple. Then the other question is that given a trail of size n, you have to find the peak elevation, where first you have ascending, then you have descending, and the trail is represented by an array of size n. What does it mean? So suppose you have an array like this: 1, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 1. So you can see there's a peak. Why is there a peak? Because 1 to 3 increases, 3 to 4 increases, 4 to 5 increases, then decreases, 5 to 1. So what is the peak element? 5. Very easy, but couple of corner cases you have to keep in mind. What if it's only increasing? Okay, so even then the peak element is 5. Okay, what if it's only decreasing? Here peaking element is again 5. So if it is only increasing, if it is only decreasing, then obviously either the first or the last element will be the peak element. But if it's a normal array where first it ascends, then it descends, then what do you need to do? Very simple. Run a for loop. Okay, for every for loop, check the element, check if the element before it is lesser and the element after it is also lesser. So let's go one by one. 3, element before it is lesser, but the element after it is bigger, not a peak. Let's go at 4. Element before it is lesser, element after it is greater, not a peak. Let's go at 5. Element before it is lesser, element after it is also lesser. It is a peak element, return it. Very simple stuff. So if you're someone who even knows the basic of coding, it's going to be very easy for you. First question will only be a basic function, basic syntax, basic question. It might even have recursion, something very basic. Second question will have arrays or strings. In rare cases, it might have 2 pointers, sliding windows, something a little bit complex. Generally, it's not going to be there. Okay, so what do you need to do for this? Okay, so there's no theory here. Okay, other I have learning and problem solving. Here you have no learning, you just have problem solving. Okay, so first thing, you become good at the library. After that you solve problems. Okay, so you only need to solve the previous year problems because you only have 10 days worth of time. Try to do 2 hours every day. Even this 1 to 2 hours should be fine because it's only 10 days. You can grind for 10 days, not a problem. Okay, so previous year problems you can do. Where will you find previous year problems? Not previous year, but let's say previous problems, because recently within this month they conducted a lot of exams. Where will you find previous problems? A playlist, a very good playlist is there. You can follow from there. The guy explains everything very beautifully. Okay, do this for the next 10 days and I guarantee you'll be able to crack the Accenture's online test as easy as you're slicing a piece of cake. Okay, it's going to be very easy for you. Nothing is needed more than that. Okay, and the resources, the questions, the sample questions, everything will either be in the sheet or in the description. You can check it from there. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any doubt, if you want to ask any specific query, please leave a comment. I'll be replying to every comment, so you can leave your doubts in the comment section. All right. And do subscribe to our channel because I'll be bringing a lot more videos about Accenture, about other companies that you can crack easily. So do hit the subscribe button.